Hi folks, today I want to talk about the future A1II because I think the recent A9 III announcement actually gave us a couple of hints about what to expect and when to expect the A1II. And today I want to talk about this, but before that please take 2 seconds time to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button to not miss any of my upcoming rumors. So the A9 III has been announced and we know that back in September Sony registered 3 new cameras, and we now know that the cameras are the A9 III, the LR1, and the third camera is actually a new video camera, so not the A1II. There's definitely no A1II coming anytime soon. And the recent A9 III announcement, they actually also hinted about this because they also announced a firmware update for the A1 that is going to be released around March, and this also makes it clear that the A1II will not be announced within the next couple of months. I think it makes sense to release a major A1 firmware update and then also announce the A1II around the same time. So that's also a hint that we have to wait till probably end of 2024 before the A1II will be announced. The A1 was announced in early 2021. Usually it takes 3.5 up to 4 years before the camera gets updated. So late 2024, early 2025 is the most likely announcement period for the A1II. But there's also one more interesting thing we can learn from the A9 III announcement. If you look at the specs, the A9 III has a 24 megapixel global shutter that can do 120 frames per second. If you would translate that very same technology on a future A1II with global shutter that has around 50 megapixel, this would mean that the A1II, if it uses a 50 megapixel global shutter, can record 60 frames per second, which is an increase from the original 30 frames per second from the A1. So based on the A9 III power, we can surely expect the A1II to be capable to feature a 50 megapixel global shutter that can record 60 frames per second, and I think this would make it an amazing camera. As you know, many complained the A9 III only had 24 megapixels, which for professionals are usually more than enough. I mean, sports photographers, they probably don't need more. But the A1II with 50 megapixel and 60 frames per second would make it an amazing camera. And probably the only one thing that makes me wonder if the A1II will really have a global shutter is the potential slight more noisy images. We are learning right now that the A9 III with that new global shutter probably could have some slight penalty in terms of noise, which means that we could have 1/3 tops more noisy images. The A1 is not a sports photography oriented camera, but it's supposed to be the best of the best, which means it can be a perfect sports photographer camera, but also landscape photographer camera or street photographer camera. And for that, I think the A1II cannot afford to have at least not better image quality than the A1 has. So at this point, I do believe that while the A1II could surely have global shutter with 50 megapixel and 60 frames per second, from a simple power point of view, that's actually feasible for Sony. I cannot see the A1II having global shutter if there is indeed some very small penalty in image quality. And this was what I wanted to share. In my opinion, the A1II is not coming anytime soon. At least we have to wait 1 year. And I don't know if Sony manages to improve the global shutter till then. On paper, the A1II could perfectly well feature that 50 megapixel 60 frames per second global shutter technology, but if it stays like it is now, I cannot see Sony justifying using it. So my bet is that the A1II will still have a rolling shutter, probably a very good one. It will have increased image quality and certainly maybe also increased frame rate. So to all those folks that are now dreaming about a high resolution, higher frame rate camera, I can tell you that as of now, you have to wait at least 1 year. And as of now, if the technology doesn't improve, I don't expect global shutter to be on this camera. And this is it for today. As soon as I have reliable info about the A1II, but also the A7S4 that is likely to be announced much before the A1II, then I will share new videos. So please, again, first of all, like this video to help me on the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and I see you soon, folks.